In this video, I just want to fairly quickly show you some of the basics of ArcGIS 10. As I mentioned in the introductory video, the first week will introduce you to the exciting concepts of folder structure, naming conventions, and where to get data. We won't go fully hands-on with ArcGIS until the second week. That might be a little frustrating for folks, so I want to show enough right now that, should you want to, you can start early doing some basic stuff with the program. Also, getting a quick familiarity with the program will help you better understand the needs of pre-planning as we go through those instructions this week. Ideally, everyone's successfully installed ArcGIS 10 on your computer, or you're able to access a computer with ArcGIS 10 on it. The Columbia College Library has several with Arc loaded. For more advice on where to get a copy of ArcGIS 10, see the resources document I sent out and read the first part of Chapter 7 of Using GIS for Wildland Search and Rescue. Okay, when you start ArcGIS 10, you get a pop-up giving you a choice of a blank map or a previous document. Choose blank map and OK. And here's the program interface. Let's take a quick tour and get familiar with the tools and other features. On the left is the table of contents. If it didn't open, click on the Table of Contents tab, or go to Windows and the drop-down and choose Table of Contents. The Table of Contents is where you'll see all the data and base maps you add layered in a list here. And you can anchor it in place by clicking on the little pin here. Next is the File drop-down. And a good practice is to start and make sure you save your project. And mine automatically opens up on a projects folder, and we'll learn more about that in folder structures later. And just give it a name. Save. Your next step, and another best practice, is to establish a coordinate system that your map is going to be based on. We'll learn more about coordinate systems later in this class, but to do this, you just right-click and choose Data Frame Properties, and then you choose a coordinate system, geographic or projected, and I've got my favorites here for UTM zones. Either UTM zone 10 or 11 will cover almost all of California. So we'll choose 11, which is the area I'm in, and OK. From now on, all data brought in to your map will convert to that same coordinate system. This is called on-the-fly conversion. It will not permanently change the original file's coordinate system, only how it integrates into your map. Your next step is usually to decide what you want to use as a base map. To do this, you can either go to the plus sign and the drop-down, Add Base Map, or you can go to File, Add Data, and Add Base Map. A box with the different types of base maps comes up. For instance, topographic, which is similar to the USGS topo maps. Imagery, two types, imagery with labels showing geographic features and peaks and roads and all that sort of thing, and just straight imagery. And you also have oceans, street maps if you're in an urban area. This is a pretty useful map. And so for our purposes, we're going to choose topographic. Click Add. So when you're practicing, load several different types of those base maps and just get a familiarity with them so you can quickly choose what you need for a particular project. And so for our base map, North America comes up, and to navigate you can use the hand tool to move the map around, or the scroll wheel of your mouse to zoom in and out. You can also use the magnifying tools to focus on an area of interest to zoom in or out of that area. Now let's look at what's called the catalog. This is where you'll get your data files. They can be on any drive on your computer, or you can even map a remote server to obtain files from. The next set of videos will show you how to set up and use file folders for your geospatial data and create a structure for them. To access them, you'll need to connect to them from the catalog window. And so just go to the little plus sign folder here, connect to folder, and then navigate to your C drive or whatever drive you want to keep your GIS data on. And you can either make a new folder or go directly to an existing folder. In my case, I have GIS data already there, and I'd click OK. But I'll click Cancel because it's already there. And it'll show up on the right here in the catalog pane. So here's GIS data and an earlier temp folder, for instance. And so that's now a permanent part, and so now you can connect to that folder. Later we'll use a more structured set of folders for all your GIS files. Before we begin editing, let's zoom in on the map on an area of interest so we can start editing. And as I said, you can either use your mouse and scroll wheel, the hand tool here to drag things around. But I'm going to start with the magnifying glass zoom tool, and you just go down and you create a little rectangle. And that zooms in here in California. And I'll zoom again. And notice how at every zoom level the map changes with a little more detail as you go. And let's go to Yosemite Valley, and I'm a little north of that. Here's Hetch Hetchy, and so we use the hand tool to drag the map a little bit north and a little bit east, and that brings us to Yosemite Valley. Okay, let's take a break, and this will be the end of part 1. In part 2, we'll create some geospatial data, points, lines, and polygons, and do some editing.